Welcome back, boys and girls. Now, I noticed as I was recording last time, because I'm not a pro or anything, I don't have like a fancy camera over here, I was noticing some lag. I'm hoping it's just because other things were open that I closed. I don't want to ruin your view. I looked like a Japanese monster movie for a second there. Well, I went to the lobby, but I didn't get any nachos. I'm fresh out of nachos. But I have gin. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. 3 olives. I'm watching Cannon. You guys seen Cannon? It's a detective show from the 70s when I was a kid. Watched it with my dad. So, Cannon's kind of a portly private eye in L.A., played by William Conrad. At the very least, you know his voice from narrating Bullwinkle. Well, Cannon's sitting at the bar, and he tells the barkeep that he wants a vodka martini. Which is fine, you can have a vodka martini every once in a while. And he says, I want 3 olives. And then he says, wait a minute, make that 2. I'm on a diet. Yeah. But that's part of the reason I didn't get nachos. Got to keep my clownish figure. No nachos for Murph. Here we have Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. It's a grand new idea for fun. I read about this once. I don't remember what spurred the whole thing. I think they may have run into the Invisible Man in a prior movie. But yeah. We got some Universal monster action here. In fact, I think this was the last movie to feature the big 3. Let's do it left-handed. Well, that's why I don't do things left-handed. That was terrible. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, 1948, Universal Pictures. Directed by Charles Barton. Starring Bud Abbott, Lou Costello, Lon Chaney Jr., Bela Lugosi, and Glenn Strange as the monster. And maybe Boris had other commitments. Maybe he was tired of playing the monster. I'm not sure, but Glenn Strange makes a pretty good monster. Frankenstein's monster, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. But I think you do. Okay, in this one, Abbott and Costello, Bud and Lou, are... Okay, Bud Abbott plays Chick, and Lou Costello plays Wilbur. I don't know why they don't just call them Bud and Lou in every movie. For hell's sakes, we know who they are. It's not like they go into great disguise and like play completely different characters in every movie. Anyway, Chick and Wilbur. Stars a couple of baggage handlers hired to move a couple of coffin-sized crates, big crates, to a house of horrors run by a guy named McDougal, which oddly enough is the local mortuary here in Murray. Coincidence? So despite having an earlier warning, they received a phone call from an always frantic Larry Talbot, Lon Chaney Jr. I'm just going to assume that you've seen The Wolfman. Because where the hell have you been if you haven't? Larry Talbot, frantic, all worked up, in a tizzy, as we used to say, calls them to warn them about their cargo, about what they've got, what they're handling. So they deliver the crates to McDougal's House of Horrors. And the first crate contains an actual coffin. It's Dracula's coffin. So, yeah. Well, as soon as Chick leaves the room with McDougal, Dracula comes out of the coffin. And Wilbur, yeah. But of course, when they come back, they don't believe Wilbur. Nobody believes Wilbur. He's Wilbur. So the next time they leave, hang on. Dracula hypnotizes Wilbur. And by then I've already taken the lid off of the other crate, and there in a pile of straw is Frankenstein's monster, which Chick and Mr. McDougal there presumed to be made of wax. Well, the monster gets up and is pretty quickly under the control of Dracula. While Wilbur's sitting there, okay, watch. Like that, because he's been mesmerized by Dracula. The monsters take off for parts unknown. Actually, for a party. We'll get to that later. And McDougal comes back and accuses Wilbur and Chick of stealing his cargo. He has them arrested. That's right. Thrown in the hoosegow. So they get bailed out by a gal who apparently has a crush on Wilbur. I know. Lou. Her name is... I don't remember her name. And I didn't write it in there. But she's an insurance investigator looking into the whole ordeal about the missing monsters. Anyway, that night, across town, in an island castle, just bear with me, we meet a lady who is harboring a Dr. Lejos, and the monster. As Dr. Lejos bears a striking resemblance to Dracula. It's very uncanny. And the voice. She's hosting a ball. And somehow, these two moving men have been invited to the ball. And after they're bailed out of jail by the girl Dick, who is schmoozing up to Wilbur for info. Ha! You knew it was too good to be true. This beautiful girl falling for Wilbur. Well, all three of them head to the soiree. And by the way, she's really an insurance investigator. I just wanted to say girl dick. Well, Talbot keeps popping up over and over, warning them. In fact, he's got like the hotel room across the hall, or the apartment across the hall, just so he can like try to stop what's going on. And he just keeps popping up, and nobody believes him. Nobody believes Wilbur. They think he's a crackpot, and well, Wilbur's Lou Costello, we already know. So the ball's a hoot. We've got Chick in a wolf costume. We've got Larry turned werewolf. Now wait. I know we had a werewolf double feature here 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. I don't know when it was. But again, in this picture, there's got to be a full moon, maybe 3-4 nights in a row. I don't know. Even my son pointed out that there were 2 full moons in a row. He's 9. Well, anyway, on the night of the 3rd full moon, Dracula's hypnotizing Wilbur yet again, and many other shenanigans involving all the players. So, I mean, who's biting who? That's movie critic gold right there. This is a great movie, and the perfect combination of a Universal horror picture and an Abbott and Costello comedy. Campy, hilarious, and even a little suspenseful. You kind of don't know what's going to happen. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Wrong hand. 5 rings. It's a 5-ring circus here on the Late Night Picture Show. No lag. I got to remember to shut that shit down before I start. I think it was one of the last week's movies that was still sitting up. 5 rings. Well, now, I suppose we ought to see what we're going to do next week. I know I've been gone for a couple of weeks. Too much stuff going on. I know I don't work in the circus anymore and I'm not on the road, but I still have stuff to do. I have a part-time job, you know. Let's stir this up a little bit. And hopefully I don't pick something we've already reviewed. Having to pick extras out of the bucket every once in a while now. Okay. I'm just going to put that in the bucket. Okay. It will not be hard to find a double feature for this, and maybe we'll even do 3. This is my favorite Godzilla movie. Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. So we'll pair it up with another favorite. Or maybe we'll pair it up with my least favorite Godzilla movie. Just to keep things interesting. Godzilla vs. Monster Zero next week on the Late Night Picture Show. Starring me, Murph the Clown. I hope you all enjoyed this week's show. If you did, hit the like button. If it sucked, hit that thumbs down button. Subscribe. Tell your friends. My name is still some unintelligible mumble jumbo of words and numbers. I can't change it until I get 100 subscribers. Let's get on that. Three olives. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time for some Godzilla on the Late Night Picture Show. Good night, kids.